70s Cordoba. So what we're doing on this car is what I like to call a resto.
The excitement of seemingly impossible rescues, such as trucks hanging on cliffs, Jeeps engulfed by sand, and machinery rescued from the edge, has always been demonstrated by Matt Off-Road Recovery. Now they are more concerned about Matt than they are about the car.
The southwest corner of Utah and northern Arizona, Nevada. And we just rescue rental cars and overlanders and people who rent side by side.
Something about the way the updates slowed down, the rumors that started to circulate, and the silence that followed for a while felt foreboding and weighty, almost like the quiet before a storm. There was a time when everything seemed to change, when the storm finally arrived. The brave recoveries and happy rescues that had looked so simple took on a different tone than what the spectators had initially experienced. This is about what happened to Matt, not just a YouTube channel anymore. Come along as we examine what some people may have heard more clearly, and how that nearly destroyed his career and show. Matt Wetzel is now more well-known thanks to his channel. Matt's off-road recovery established his reputation by combining timing, technique, and location. He lived and worked in southern Utah, where bumpy trails, scorching desert temperatures, and rough terrain frequently left travelers stranded long before YouTube. He worked for a company affiliated with AA called Winder Towing, having had years of experience handling automobiles in situations where a basic tow truck was insufficient. Established in Hurricane, Utah, decades prior, Winder Towing had established a name throughout the entire area. Due to the area's AA membership, residents frequently turned to the organization, particularly when regular roadside help was not feasible. In addition to standard roadside work, Matt's experience included fixing broken-down autos, on roads, with doors shut, and with tires flat. This also includes the risky recoveries in the adjacent desert and in the sand, slick rock, and steep slopes of Zion National Park. The very high frequency of off-road incidents in that region of Utah was what made his work unique. Both locals and visitors forced trucks, jeeps, and recreational vehicles into unprepared areas. Larger towing companies frequently made winch towing the sole viable option, or local resources hardly ever functioned in such isolated locations. Matt gradually started recording these recoveries after realizing the possibility they held. Vehicles teetering on rock shelves, trucks buried up to their axles in sand, and jeeps toppled into arroyos. He was collecting notes, and each case offered more drama than a straightforward tow from a city street. With these insights and a keen sense of business, put him on the path to starting his YouTube channel, and he was correct, it would be a success. In 2019, Matt formally debuted his YouTube channel, Matt's Off-Road Recovery. After assembling a cast, it gave spectators a glimpse of the remarkable recovery in the Utah desert, something they couldn't find anyplace else. The eye-catching images and the problem-solving drew them in right away. The rescues were authentic, in contrast to contrived stuff. The stranded cars were real, the circumstances were frequently hazardous, and the rescues necessitated careful driving, winches, recovery ropes, and ingenuity. The channel incorporated a number of components that contributed to its rapid growth. The fact that Matt was capturing his actual job rather than acting first drew in viewers. In contrast to typical tow jobs in cities, the Utah desert provided untamed and breathtaking views. They also had the opportunity to witness the gradual development of challenging recoveries. The videos gained personality as family members and local crew, such as Lizzie and Jeff, started to appear frequently. The channel quickly acquired popularity, initially among off-road aficionados and later among a larger YouTube audience, interested in adventure, rescue, and mechanical skills. Content. Videos frequently started with a stranded driver calling, then Matt evaluating the situation. The story then turned to the crew's trek through the wilderness, where they occasionally needed specialized gear to even get to the car. The main source of concern was whether the recovery would be successful without causing more harm or, in certain situations, if it could be done at all. The initial recuperations demonstrated Matt's proficiency and the entertainment value of his labor. He wasn't only removing cars, he was frequently coming up with solutions on the go. The show is different from most other types of material because of its homemade setups, unusual techniques, and measured risks. By the year 2021, the channel was frequently producing episodes and receiving hundreds of thousands of views. For each video, stable growth was maintained, with subscribers exceeding 1 million in a matter of years. He went beyond recoveries as the channel's popularity grew. Sales of merchandise, such as branded hats and shirts, started. Additionally, specially constructed recovery rigs were included in the content. The Morvair, a modified Corvair intended for off-road recovery work, was one of the most noteworthy creations. Displaying distinctive builds offered new material that went beyond simple tows and strengthened the channel's character. The YouTube channel's success generated a second source of revenue. In addition to Winder Towing's AAA operations, traditional towing work started to be supplemented by sponsorships, products, and advertising revenue. By the end of the 21st century, Matt's off-road recovery had grown from a job description to a well-known brand, with devoted followers all over the world. Of course, a show wouldn't be complete without its supporting cast, and the recurring team members were a major factor in the channel's popularity. A family friend who eventually became a frequent co-host, Lizzie contributed both technical expertise and a likable personality to the show. A nephew named Jeff got involved in both video creation and recovery efforts. Later, Tucker and Skeeter joined, bringing their mechanical expertise and recuperation abilities. As time passed, viewers began to connect the channel with this in addition to Matt. A changing cast of characters, their relationship, which could be amusing when appropriate or serious when necessary, contributed to the recovery's technical and entertainment aspects. By the 21st year, Matt's off-road recovery had become a premier niche channel. Although it had a distinct identity, a sizable fan base, and consistent uploads, problems were growing with Winder Towing's business practices behind the scenes. Initially, there was no noticeable disturbance to the YouTube viewership. Recoveries were filmed, videos persisted, and goods grew. Nevertheless, strain had subtly become apparent. Initially as sporadic upload lapses and cryptic online comments, followed by escalating rumors of billing and AAA contract issues. The channel's foundation was on the verge of a legal storm that would put the first significant shade over the show's development and potentially lead to its demise. The case of insurance fraud that caused the stir Matt's off-road recovery was well known in the YouTube automotive community. By the end of the year 2021, the brand was expanding. The recoveries were spectacular, and Matt Wetzel's standing as a talented problem solver was now well established. Nobody realized that Winder Towing, the business arm of his towing company, was being investigated on the underbelly. 2019. January through August 2020, investigators had claimed that Winder Towing had made major misrepresentations on a number of claims that had filed with AAA Insurance. Simply put, neither the vehicles nor the services rendered were appropriately represented in the claims. A Polaris or ZR side-by-side being towed from a state park was one instance of an off-road vehicle deception, according to court records and media accounts. However, recreational off-roading was not covered by AAA policies. Automobiles. The claim was filed as if the tow had involved a typical car that was covered by membership. There have been allegations of using someone else's AAA membership for services for which they were not truly qualified. Investigators claim that in certain instances, the claims stated that cars were towed, but in fact, other services like material delivery or roadside assistance were rendered. Support outside the parameters of the policy. As the dust settled over southern Utah, one thing became clear: Matt's off-road recovery was more than a YouTube channel. It had become a story of redemption, resilience, and lessons learned the hard way. The legal storm may have threatened to destroy everything he built, but it also revealed the human side of a man who turned mistakes into motivation. Matt didn't quit. Instead, he rebuilt stronger, smarter, and more transparent. Fans who once tuned in for recovery stayed for something deeper: integrity and perseverance. Today, every rescue, every video, and every mile in the desert stands as proof that setbacks don't define you, your recovery does. This isn't just the story of a towing company. It's the story of a man, a crew, and a community that learned how to pull themselves out of the toughest terrain life can offer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because out here, every recovery tells a story. Every recovery tells a story.